So, Tech N9ne just released his newest album and the 20th in his discography, Planet. So after all these releases and after so much time in the rap game, does he still have what it takes to make a great project? Today, I will be answering that question. So guys, this is CDTVProductions, and let's talk about this album.
This is tribal, stick is rival. In the mouth with a right blow, then you get this pyro. Young punk better lie low somewhere, probably up in Cairo with a Bible when a psycho. When I give a hit.
So I first heard Strange Rain yesterday. I didn't listen to it when it came out, and I wanted to hear it before listening to this album, and Tech just didn't sound hugely inspired on it. It just hit me as majorly mediocre. Not to mention, I know it was a Collabos album, but there was a severe lack of Tech N9ne on it. And this album, drumroll please, is a massive relief, as it shows me that Tech N9ne, after all these years, can still put out a brilliant project. I don't think I've enjoyed a Tech N9ne album this much since Special Effects. As soon as I finished the very first track, Habanero, I got really excited because it's the first time I've heard Tech that motivated in a while. And he pretty much carries this energy throughout the entire album. His flows are stellar on every single track, his rhyming is as impressive as ever, and pretty much every track has a concept, which I appreciate. None of them to me feel like they're talking about nothing. The concepts is something Tech usually does, but on his last few albums, the concepts or stories behind each song seemed less and less significant and meaningful. Here they seem a lot more personal and worthwhile. You've got tracks like Don't Nobody Want None, where Tech raps over an instrumental that samples a song from the 80s, which is fitting as it's dedicated to dance crews and DJs. You've got Comfortable, which is one of my favourite songs on the album, with Tech telling us which radio stations he likes to be interviewed by, and also telling us the ones he doesn't like so much, specifically naming Hot 97 after they caused a bit of a rift between him and ICP after they interviewed Tech.
The top I'm stepping, but I'm no longer stepping in Hot 97 to the powers that be traveled to see the spot nines reppin'.
This is also touched on more on the song My Fault, which also has a very good second verse where Tech details a time where he played his song Areola live, and he actually got flashed by an underage girl in the audience, and this show was being filmed. The mother of that child saw the footage and tried to file child pornography charges against Tech, even though there was no way he could have known that the child was underage. So now, he no longer risks performing Areola live. He doesn't do it anymore. There's just so many stories on here, and I haven't learned this much about Tech from an album in a while. It's such a substantive project. Not to mention, you have some of his most musically interesting and beautiful music on here. The perfect example of this is the song Brightfall. The variety of instruments used on here just create this standout track with this very powerful choir style hook. On top of that, it also has a beat switch up that still manages to keep the intensity of the song. I also particularly enjoyed the tracks that Tech referred to as the wind down section. These were the 4 tracks at the end of the album. Very fittingly named. All these songs have this really kind of relaxed feeling to them, and it's a good way to close out the album. It's kind of letting you down after all the craziness and wildness that's throughout the rest of the album. My only complaint there is whilst the final track, We Won't Go Quietly, is good, to me it sounds very similar to a song Tech has already made called Believe, which was found on his Something Else project. It was a good closer to the album, and obviously it's very suitable for the concept of this album. You know, Peace Youth Unit Neutralizing Earth, which is what his planet name Planet Pune stands for. But I just felt like it wasn't fantastic because I feel like I've heard it before. And you know what, whilst I am talking about complaints, I might as well talk about some other issues that this album has, because as with every single album in the world, it's not perfect. One thing that bugged me is that there's quite a few songs on here that have just one problem or bad musical choice, that just drags the songs down as a whole and make them so much harder to listen to. And I'll give you some specific examples of what exactly I mean. A good one is during the hook of Show Enough. Why is that piano there? I really want to like the hook of that song, but the piano just sounds wrong and creates this uneasy feeling, which it definitely doesn't sound like the song was going for. It's quite an upbeat, you know, feel-good song. And the way that piano just shifts up a key, it does not sound right.
Even though we had a lot of nothing, were we told? Did we find a better way of living?
Then there's Not a Damn Thing, where it starts off as this uplifting piano-based track, but then in the verses, it switches up to this hyped-up guitar-based beat, and the change is too jarring in my opinion. I much preferred the piano-based segments of that song. There's also that obnoxious bleeping sound on the track Fresh Out that makes it unlistenable for me. And while most of the features on here are fantastic, you know, you've got King ISO ripping up his verse on Bad Juju, Krizz Kaliko with his amazing hook on Red Buyers, Snow the Product killing it on How I'm Feeling, you know, all these great features, but there's one feature that was really bad in my opinion, and that was Y2 on No Reason, the Mosh Pit song. His hook on that thing is hilarious, and it's not supposed to be.
Mosh pit, for no reason, mosh pit. I just think you fucking with the wrong one.
It's the worst part of the song, and I don't understand it because Y2 actually has a good verse later on in the song, so I don't know what went wrong with the hook there. I do have some complaints, and ideally I would remove a few tracks, but that doesn't change the fact that this was still Tech N9ne's most solid album in a few years. He really sounds like he was trying with this one. Each song has a bunch of layers, and it's only very occasionally that just one of those layers doesn't work. It is a shame when that happened because it stopped me from enjoying tracks I otherwise really would like Show Enough. But it doesn't happen that often. I think it would be cool as well if he utilized the planet concept more, which I believe is what he said he was going to do at first, but then as he kept going along it didn't really turn into that. But it does work perfectly fine as this album that's just kind of loosely based around a concept. I'm going to give Planet by Tech N9ne an 8.8 out of 10. In all honesty, I slightly lost my interest in his music after Dominion and Strange Rain, but I am fully back in my Tech N9ne zone after this album. Just fantastic stuff here. So what did you guys think of this album? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Do you think this is a return to form for Tech N9ne? Let me know down in the comments below. As with always, I'll also put a link in the description where you can check my fastest verses video for Tech N9ne part 2, which I uploaded a couple of days ago if you want to check that out. I will see you all in the next one, and this is CDTVProductions, signing out.